that we're going to make a character in Astonishing Swordsman Sorcerer Hyperborea. All right, let's get this started. Segment 1. Astonishing Swordsman Sorcerer Hyperborea. We've already gone through all the books. Well, all the books. We've gone through the book, the Player's Handbook. By the way, for anybody who cares, I did send a message to Jeffrey Tillinian. Well, we'll just say Northwind Adventures. And I specifically said, hey, is there an estimated date for when Astonishing Swordsman Sorcerer's 2nd edition hardcover will be available again? We're creating a live stream video series that covers the game, and we'd like to give away a couple physical copies when we complete the series. Thank you in advance. Blah, blah, blah. And the response back was, there's no estimate at this time. It remains a work in progress. New cover art is being painted as we speak. It's kind of cut off here. Other fine-tuning adjustments are being discussed. We're looking at early 2021 for a ballpark right now. So for now, softcover players' manuals will have to suffice. Cheers. So that sucks. And the reason I say that is because if you're going to game master the game and you really want to get into the lore of the world, the game master section is in that second part. So that's, I mean, look, he's trying to make his product as good as he can. I can't fault him for that. It's just, it sucks that, I know some people were asking, hey, when's the hardcover coming out? When's the hardcover coming out? Well, that was the response I got. So probably not until next year. So for now, if you are somebody who knows Dungeons and Dragons, or if you're good at making up your own worlds and you've got, say, like an older edition monster manual or something, you could still easily play the game with very little customization. So just to be clear, the player's manual is enough to play the game if you're a game master that's willing to put in a little bit of effort. Other than that, you'll have to wait until next year. So sorry about that, but hey, that's not my fault. All right, so what are we going to do today? We're going to keep saying we're going to make an Astonishing Swordsman Sorcerers of Hyperborea character, as I have on here. And by the way, this is a fillable character sheet, so I'm going to use my name. Look at that. Boom. The magic legs like Forrest, then you could stand up and run marathon. Wait, what? What's going on here? No, I'm recovering, but better. At least I don't want to fall over and try. Ah, there we go. I think he's just waiting on everything. You'd have to send a message to on North. Just go to hyperborea.tv and just send a message there. But I don't know why it's not in softcover. Maybe he just feels that with as many pages as it is, it's like 660 pages or something like that for the main one. I don't know. It could be a money thing where it's like once it's in production in one manner, it sucks to try to convert it to another. I have zero clue at all as to the thought process behind this. But it did also sound like he was doing other tweaks to the game, so I don't know what that's about. I'm happy with it the way it is, but hey. Other than putting movement, maybe he's putting movement in an earlier part or giving it an index. That would be awesome. So anyway, all right, so we're going to be using, the reason why I'm showing my screen now and hopefully not going to dox myself is because I'm going to be bouncing back between, I'm using rolls, rolz.org for the die roller. And the reason is because, well, it's a nice simple die roller. We can see it on here, and I'm going to show you how I roll up characters. If you remember from the game, which by the way, I do have the game up on my screen over another monitor over here, but I'm using that just because I want to follow the book in order. I'm not making this character like I would make a character with one caveat. I'm making this in the order and the way the book says to do it. I said one caveat to that. That's going to be literally the first thing we do, which is the caveat. So the first thing is you're supposed to, generate your attributes. Well, I know this causes a lot of butthurt in people. I don't like rolling straight 3d6 because the amount of 4, 5, 3, 4s, and 5s, and the amount of 17, 18s, 19s is ridiculous to me. I don't like rolling 4d6. Was it 4d6? Reroll runs, take the highest 3 because then everybody's damn stats are 16, 17s, 18s. I don't believe in characters starting off as heroes. I believe in characters starting off as average schmucks that lived on a farm, maybe joined the army, maybe lived a princely life or something. So you're not going to have all the attributes available to you. You don't fucking start the game as a superhero. And I can't stand, I got 2 18s. Not in my game, you didn't. It's actually a point of consternation between me and Heathen Dog because he's like, well, if they roll it, let them have it. I'm like, do you understand the percentages of 2 18s? You are literally taking a character that has got Olympic level, human maximum level attributes of 6 total in 2 of them. So 1/3 of this being is literally human maximums. I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. So no, I don't allow stats like that. So the method that I use, and we're going to go over here, is there's two of them depending on the game. For this game, I'm okay with stats being a touch higher than average. And what it is it's 5d6, okay? And now this big letter O I type in here means only take the middles. Get rid of the extreme ends, okay? So it's 5d6, get rid of the highest, get rid of the lowest. If you do this, you still end up with the same average that you would always have rolling 3d6, except for your chances of 18s and 3s are very, very, very low. Now, I do one other thing. Depending, like I said, depending on the game. And for this character, this is what we're going to do. Can't see my monitor, so, or my keyboard because my microphone's in the way. Oops, reroll ones. So this is going to actually remove any potential chance of having a 3, 4, or 5. The minimum attribute this character can have is a 6. Now, the one caveat to this is it does give a slightly higher percent chance of getting an 18 and actually does raise the average from 10.5 to 13, I think it is. I forgot. I did math on this a long time ago, but I think it's 13. So I did 46, John. See, I don't even like the 46 thing because that just allows, if you do the math on it, sure, it gets rid of the 3s, 4s, and 5s pretty much, but it still allows for way too many 16s, 17s, and 18s. I do not like seeing characters like that. I just don't. I don't like my characters to be like that, yet I have to make them that way just to fit into a game. I like characters that have stats around the 11 to 12 with, 1 or 2 maybe a little higher to 13, 14, and 1 or 2 a little lower to 7 or 8. But mostly within that range of an average person that's trying to make it in the world. But I also play with rules that allow people to increase their stats or to balance that out. So I think it is 13 average, right? So that's what we're going to do here. So this will have us a little higher average. So you're already starting as a better than average base character. Okay, and I'm actually going to get a pen here because I'm not going to put the stats in order. Do I have a note card? I have a million notes, but I don't scribble them on my little pink stickies here. And we're going to roll this 6 times. I'm not going to do it in order because I'm going to ask you guys what character class I should make. And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to put the stats, and what makes sense for that. Before, don't type in yet. We'll get to that in a moment. So anyway, so here we go. Reroll equals 1, comma, 5d6 with an O. I don't know if it has to be capital or not. I always do it capital. And that will have us roll 5d6, get rid of the highest and lowest, and it will reroll ones on the way. So let's do it 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, wow, 4, 5. Oh, damn! I have never, with actual dice, used this. Oh, yes, I have. It's without the reroll 1. I've never gotten an 18 before. Peg leg peasant, get a peg leg and say R. So, at first I was kind of laughing because I don't think I've ever rolled 3 12s in a row like that, and then a 9, then a 10. I mean, how perfectly average can you have? But then, boom, 18. So we're talking about the character that, as an average person, was a freaking genius, like absolute top. I mean, this could still be a farmer. Remember, a farmer isn't necessarily stupid, might not have all the book learning of somebody who grew up in the city or in the ivory tower and so forth, but has the capacity to learn better than that person who lived with more access to knowledge. It could also be somebody who's just looking, got the thick glasses, Where's Waldo thing going on there, and just is a brainiac. Could be somebody that's just ridiculously strong, worked out on as a lumberjack, and did the what's that movie, Conan? Did the Conan thing his entire life, pushed the pushed the mill and just got strong. Whatever the stat happens, it could be charisma. It could be somebody who's absolutely just worked on personality. Not this guy. You get the point though. So I mean, this couldn't have worked out better for me with my system. Love it. No matter said that's my choice. Well, I mean, Wheel of Pain. That's I didn't remember the technical term of it, but yeah, I haven't seen the movie in so many years. But anyway, we got 3 12, so I'm gonna write that down. 12, 12, 12, 9, 10, 18. All right, so let's go back to now. let's ask the question for those of you who are watching. And you know, I have to do it. I have to channel my inner Garthon. If you're liking this, subscribe! I can't do the scream like he did it. Yeah, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and by all means, please share it with your friends. Excuse me. My voice is already going. My God, just started. Hate that metal cup and that metal straw. Anyway, so what do we want to make? What do we want the character class to be? Do you guys remember the character classes? Let me scroll down here. I think to keep the stream easy, we should probably do one just the 4 core classes: fighter, thief, cleric, and magic user. I don't think we should go into a subclass. Like I said, this is just an example. I think that to start getting crazy on just an example character on a stream might be kind of out of scope. But so I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna limit it to fighter, magician, cleric, and thief. But I'll let you guys in chat decide what you want it to be. What do you want it to be? And we'll make whichever one majority says. And of course, bits always win. I actually like the Purloiner. I like both the Purloiner and the Ledger Main. I just don't want to do that today. I think that's one of those. I kind of want to get through this in a simple process. I almost want to say no magic users, but no, that's not fair. So Krantz wants a cleric. Okay, we can do a cleric. So far we've got cleric. I'll give you guys a little bit more time to type in there what you think you want to see. I do like to play clerics. I think I really enjoy playing a cleric in this game, especially with how the healing rules work, where you don't necessarily have to be a heal bot. It's good to obviously have, you know, as many heal spells as you can, but you don't necessarily have to be a heal bot. So right now we have 1 cleric, 1 thief. And we have a lot more people than that watching. That way you can go over spell selection. That's fair. I can also go with the thief. I can also go over the special abilities as well, the thief abilities. So everyone has a bonus. I'll see if there's a tiebreaker coming up here. I can't take too much longer. You have to move on, but I'll flip a coin or something. Do I have a coin? I had one up. I used to have a whole ton of change up here. I can't use my spin wheel because I've got something else going on with that, but all right, the first one I see that's not in the character class section, that's the one I'm going to go with. So we got there. I don't see any classes there. Oh, that a thief? Oh, does not say thief. Does that say cleric? Does not say cleric there. Okay. 0 for 2. First one I saw was cleric, and only because it happened to just be typed literally one word before. Noro picked. That's well, I don't know if Noro's at her computer. I know she was watching at first, but she's got stuff that she wants to do. She is totally not interested in tabletop role-playing games. She watches just to be nice to me. I already forgot which one I said. No, let's just go forward. Let's go forward with the cleric. Sorry, Ravenslayer, but we're gonna go forward with the cleric. You can do the thief next time. The thief was not a bad option though, and it's actually something I considered because I could show off the what do you call it, the thief abilities, which work differently in this game. Oh, I saw 8 before. I see 8, not 7. Maybe somebody's watching on the other stream. Okay, so with that in mind, let's fill this out. Obviously, if we're gonna do cleric, we're gonna put the 18 in the wisdom. Now, the next thing is what kind of game is this? Is it gonna be a combat game? Is it gonna be a game? Well, you know what? We already know that in order to turn clerics, is it charisma? I think it's charisma. Yeah, undead turning. So we want our next highest stat there, which is a 12. We're probably going to want to stay alive. And I don't like clerics that are stupid. By the way, 9 is not stupid. I do kind of picture the old Friar Tuck fat cleric. Maybe he's not fat. Maybe he's just somebody that just sits at his computer desk all day doing streams. I mean, he reads his Bible all day and doesn't get outside, so he's not practicing, tightrope walking and so forth. I don't know. But they do make him lift things, punishment and so forth. So we'll go with that. So I think those are pretty good. That's pretty good distribution of the attributes. Now we have to do the whole modifiers and so forth. Strength of 10, attack modifier is going to be 0, of course, because it's average. Remember, 9 to 12 is average in these games. So there's nothing, literally nothing wrong with these stats. Nothing wrong with them. I know some of the people play 5th edition are like, oh my God, that's so low and so horrible. Who would ever play that character? Remember, Raceland became a god, kind of a failed god, but a god. And his intelligence was 17, not even 18. So you don't have to have super mega stats in order to be a decent character. So attack modifier 0. Damage adjustment is probably going to be 0 also. Yes, it is. Test of strength is 2:6. So what does that mean? You have to roll a 1 or 2 on a d6. Hey, not the greatest out there, but again, it's average. You're doing a test of strength. You're trying to do something. You're not built for strength. You're built for common sense. And feat of strength is 4%. And that does not get the bonus because clerics are not warriors or fighters or cataphracts or whatever the heck else they have. So attack modifier. So let's look at dexterity. Dexterity attack modifier on the 9 is also a 0. And this game treats it perfectly in terms of these stats are average. There are no penalties here. 9 through 12. And I'm sure it's like that all the way across the board, but 9 through 12. What am I typing here? 2:6. And feat of dexterity is probably 4% also. Yep. Yeah, it's only a 4% chance, but just remember, these feats of dexterity are crazy. These are like the heroic, like the super heroic. This isn't your job as a cleric to be super heroic. Oh, let's put cleric up here. Not in terms of strength and dexterity. You're not supposed to be walking tight ropes. You're not supposed to be lifting boulders. That's not your job. All right, Constitution, we do want you to survive a little bit more. But again, this Constitution is average. Sure, it's on the top end of average, but really when it comes to the stats, it's the exact same thing. A 9 through a 12 are the exact same numbers as they should be. 0. Can I do it with arrow key? I cannot. Can I do it tab key? I can. So trauma survival. What is that? Oh, 75%. And if you guys don't remember, trauma survival is the likelihood of surviving a system transformation of shocking degree. System shock. Remember system shock back in the day? Like how he rewords it. Such as petrification or polymorph. It also represents the chance one has to be successfully resurrected from death. So test of Constitution would also be 2 and 6. And feat of Constitution should be 4% as well. And it is. There we go. Intelligence. Now, this is where they stop with the whole tests of and feats of, as you can see on the character sheet. So how many languages do I get with an intelligence of 12? Well, I get plus minus 0. Oh, well. I speak my native language. And I can't remember. I would have to go back to the rules to find out if you get, wait, most player characters begin knowing how to speak, read, or write the common tongue, and if applicable, their native or a vulgate tongue. So, depending on the race that I get, I either speak 1 or 2 languages, which is fine. Learn spells. Well, I'm not a magician, so I don't really care. And bonus spells. N-A. It's funny, I don't make a habit of looking at my keyboard with this microphone here, though. I feel like I have to. All right, now let's get to the good one, the wisdom. This is where the cleric is going to shine. 18 plus 2 willpower adjustment. So what does that mean? A bonus or penalty applied to saving throws associated with mind control, including charm person, fear, hold person, illusions, possession, and suggestion. An example, any spell or effect that would compel the character to see or do something he otherwise would not. All right, makes sense. Chance to learn spell. Actually, I should do cleric's bonus spells cast per day. This character gets one level 1 spell, one level 2 spell, one level 3 spell, and one level 4 spell. Of course, you don't get that at level 1 because you can't cast 4th level spells at level 1. But at level 4, or actually it'd be what, level 8? Whatever level it is, you get 4th level spell. You get an extra one per day. So already starting off with a bonus there. And the chance to learn spells. Remember, in this game, clerics have to learn spells differently, but similarly to wizards. So 95%. Lastly, 12. Now, this might be where some people would say, you know what, it might be better to flop these two. If it's a heavy role-playing game, I would actually suggest that the cleric flop these two because you're trying to bring people into your flock. You're trying to preach and bring them in. However, I don't think there's anything about Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea that says that this is going to be a heavy role-playing game where we're trying to gather converts. I think this is a game, maybe for the actual priest subclass. I think this is a game about crushing skulls and beating off demons and evil. So with that, the charisma isn't all that important other than for the turning undead. So what do we have here with the 12? Everything's gonna be average again, so no loyalty modifier for them. Maximum number of henchmen, 4. Remember, henchmen are the ones that are really close to you. And turning undead adjustment is 0, so no bonus or penalty there. All right, there we go. Our attributes are filled in, and we will get to this stuff later. I'm trying to do it in the order that the book provides it to us, so we'll get to this. Now, the classes. We picked Cleric. Krantz picked Cleric. Ravenslayer wanted Thief. And you know what? I think this is going to take too long to also do a Thief. We'll see. So let's go down to the Cleric. That's okay. So Cleric. Attribute requirement requires a Wisdom of 9. Well, we got that blown out of the water. Prime attribute is Wisdom. Hit die type is 8. And I'm seeing this for those following along with the book that had it. I don't know what page this is in the book. I think it's masked. Corner there. Looks like page 17 I'm looking at. It's got a picture of the cleric holding up a little orb. This is of the player's handbook, player's guide. So hit die type is 8. So let's get that 8 up in there. So we've got a D8. Nora was in the kitchen where she belongs, according to Max. Wow. So you don't think I'm lying. I put that on the screen so y'all can see it. She's right, though. All right. Let's hide that back. All right. Next, armor allowed any, shields allowed any, favored weapons. Well, let's see. Do we have armor and shield damage in here? Nope. So we'll just know that we'll have to come back when we look for weapons. Saving throw. Saving throw modifiers +2 to death. So death is +2. And to sorcery. And you know, I like this. First of all, this just makes sense. You know, you've got God, for example, you know, even if it's Cthulhu, you know, kind of protecting you from death, giving you that little extra source of life, you know, to show that you're in touch with one of the divine. But I also like the sorcery one. And the reason why I like that is because in traditional tabletop gaming, and by traditional, I mean like, you know, a lot of the stories from first edition D&D, and even if you want to go biblical about it, there's always that fight between sorcery and mysticism versus, you know, God and faith and so forth. It was portrayed in the Dragonlance series. It's been portrayed in a lot of other series and so forth. It's just kind of a little occult flair that's just always been there, even if not directly said. And I like the idea of sorcery being something with that in mind. Now, somebody out there is probably going to say, no, it's just because they cast spells, wizards get the same thing. Sure. Can't argue with you on that one. But let's look at what wizards get. I'm pretty sure it is sorcery and magician. And I think it's sorcery and transformation, if I remember correctly. No, it's device and sorcery. But I like to equate it to We'll call it the battle between the clerics and the mages. Now, that might not fit in your game, but that's how I like to see it. So, anywho, got that. And later on, we'll get to what the actual saves are. Hit points, D8. So that's what the hit die is. Okay, so does it say on here? I passed it already. Scroll back just a little bit. Like I said, I'm trying to do this in the order of the book. I want to follow what the book says. For this. So it says generate attributes. I generated attributes. Class, I'm guessing other statistics comes in step 9. Yep, it says right there, step 9. Okay, so we don't need to do any more of that. Now, the cleric does come with some features. Just by your character being a cleric. Now, this part, I'm going to be honest with you, I am not going to type it all up in here. I'm going to put a couple of them in here just to show how it can be done or how you do it on your character sheet. But I'm not going to put them all in here because I don't really have time for that. Unless I can copy and paste the whole thing. I guess I can technically copy and paste the whole thing. Yeah, that's a lot of copying and pasting. And I wouldn't actually copy and paste the whole thing myself anyway. Oh, God. That didn't work at all. And I do it here, is it just going to be one line? Yeah, it's just going to be one line. So, yeah, we're not going to do that. Let's just do, let's do the first one. Read scrolls. Oops. And, here. Normally you'd type this however you want to type it up for your character sheet. And I will do scribe scrolls as one other one. And then we'll call it a day. And I'm not going to put the whole thing in there because it won't fit, at least not this way. So I'll just copy the first sentence. But you get the idea. You can put in here what your character's abilities are. Maybe we'll have more that we'll actually put in here later. The cleric class abilities you might not feel actually are necessary here because every cleric's the same. That's up to you. I know with the first few characters I've made for this game, I put them here just so I didn't always have to look stuff up in them. And usually what I did, if there's a level limitation to it, I didn't write it in here until I hit that level. But that's me. Okay, anyway. You get the idea there. This is the one part we are not going to fill out completely. Let's go back to the top. Race we haven't got to. We're obviously level 1. Climate we haven't got to yet. Fighting abilities. So where is that? I'm copying this stuff. Some of this we're supposed to come back to, but I'm copying it out of the player's handbook since we're on this page. It is table 9. Level 1 fighting ability. So the cleric's fighting ability is 1-1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5. I'm not going to keep reading it. The reason why I'm saying that is because it isn't just 1 for 1. So a 12th level cleric only has a fighting ability of 8. That's still better than the wizard, which I think is a 5, or the magician. But, you know, it's not as good as the fighter, which is going to have a 12. Meantime, we go down to turning ability. It's also starting at a 1, but that's 1 per level. So at level 12, that's going to be a 12. And casting ability is also a 1. Fill that in. Actually, I should just fill that in right now. It was 95%. So you already know what that is since I'm down there. Excuse me. So what is next? Whole bunch of character classes. So I do want to remember what page. 17. So I'm going to need to come back to check out the weapons at some point. So I'm scrolling way down here past all the subclasses and so forth. Bear with me just one moment. There are a ton of classes. Okay. Oh, that's priests. Still in the subclass. Ones. Aha. All right, now it's time to figure out what our race is. And just like every game, Dungeons and Dragons and so forth, when, you know, the first time you do it, it might take a bit, or as somebody's walking you through it, it might take a little bit of time so you understand what everything is. Since I'm doing this the book way, this is going to take longer than it's going to take you to make a character after you've done it like 2 or 3 times. Like, I actually can whip out a character in this game. I don't know all the page numbers for things, but when I find the pages I need, I can whip out a character for this game in about 15 to 20 minutes, and that includes a little, like, 3 to 5 sentence paragraph on my background. Okay, so what we want to do next is we want to roll for our race. We could pick, but what the hell's the fun in that? Let's roll for our race. And the race roll is a 2d6. So 2d6. I don't know if Ravenslayer is following along with the book or if anybody else is, but races are on page 100. And I'm going to roll 2d6. And I got a 10. That's a Chimeri Celt. So let's see what it says about the Chimeri Celt. Remember, everything in this game, they're all humans. So it's just different types of humans. Experience Chimeri Celts. The Bibles of Chimerian and Celtic mergers during the Dark Age that followed the Green Death. When mankind was on the brink of extinction, displaced survivors of Chimerian and Celtic pedigree formed their own tribes in the fields of Vol. Anyway, physically, the Chimeri Celts are large-boned people with variable skin tone, hair color, and eye color. Chimerian dark hair is a dominant trait, likewise the Celtic freckled complexion. Chimeri Celts typically venerate Crimmer as well as ancestral spirits. So I'm going to write that down, Crimmer. Now, can you worship any god you want? Yes. But I like to stay relatively true to what the race is. Unless it's a really just stupid god, like a god of, I don't know, bunny rabbits and butterflies or something. I don't know. I'm still bad. Okay. So we know where copy this. I just want to copy this on in. Going back to the character sheet. The race is Chimeri Celt. Okay. Now the typical homeland is the city-state of Cromarium, which is pretty normal. And I'll probably just keep it that. Let's see, what's fields of Vol, grassy plains that teem with wildlife. Nomadic tribes of Chimeri Celts roam the grasslands chasing game. So the tribes are off at war with one another. Or Port Zangarios. So no, I'm just going to do city-state of Cromarium. That's usually the best place to kind of start. Bunny rabbits and butterflies. Yes, that could be what it is. We'll find out here in just a moment. So now we do physique, which includes age and so on and so forth. Once again, I'm going to roll. Why not roll? I mean, if I wanted to pick everything, I would have had the character done before I started the stream. So what does it say? Player character starting age is 16 to 19. So 1d4 plus 15. So let's type that in. 4 plus 1, 5. Boom. I am 18 and I'm legal. So do we have age? Well, I'm going to write that down on my little sticky note here, and we'll get back to that. Mostly because I just don't want to keep scrolling up and down, scrolling up and down, scrolling up and down. Yet I'm doing it right now, so why not, right? Name, class. Oh, that's henchman. Miscellaneous notes. Memorize. Gender, male. Okay. Apparently male is already put in there. Age, 18. And we'll get to. So I guess since I have this stuff here, I can. And we are going to put Crimmer. And homeland is going to be, what did I say it was? Cromarium? I can't remember how to spell that. Let's put it here. Okay. And language is known, I think, what do they call it? Common? Is it just called common? Well, we'll get to that in a moment. I think. Or is language already determined? But we'll get to that. Some of the stuff, if I don't find right away, I don't have this book memorized, so some things still have to search for. But so I'm 18, right? Well, next, so that makes me a young adult. Well, actually, no. Yep, I'm a young adult. So what does that mean? No modifiers apply. This range is starting point for most PCs. Perfect. An adult, add 1 point to any attribute. So there you go. This game already has built into it that as you age, you can raise an attribute as selected by the player. Now, the game doesn't go past 18. It isn't like D&D where it gives you a chart to 25. And I'm talking a D&D, the real D&D, not the modern crap. So I guess I would have to put it in something else. Which I would probably put it in Charisma because it would just make sense for a cleric. All right, so what's next? All age modifiers are cumulative. Yep, don't care about that. Height and weight. First determine the character's height by rolling 3d6. Okay, well, let's roll 3d6. Now, let me first check to make sure there are no modifiers for being a Chimera Celt. For Chimera Celts, use the standard procedure. Awesome. So that makes it easy. Again, most players are going to choose a lot of this stuff on their own, but I am doing this for the stream because I just want it to come out randomly. So 3d6, boom, got a 9. So a 9 is 5'9" plus 1d3. Okay, so 1d3. So that's 2. So that makes me 5'11", taller than me in real life. So 5'11", and for all the people who use weird old metric system out there that the rest of the world uses. Sorry, I don't know what that is in centimeters. So there. To determine weight variable, roll a d10. Okay, so a second here. Okay, so determine weight variable, roll a d10. Roll a d10. I got a 7. So what does that say? D10 roll 4 to 7 is average weight. All right, average weight for me, according to this, is 170 pounds. 170. So I'm not fat. I'm probably just slovenly. Okay, hair, they said, is dark for my race typically. And it didn't say anything about eyes, but you know what? Let's just go genetics brown. I mean, they do have Celtic. You know what? They have Celtish blood. Let's do green. Nah, let's do brown. Hazel. There we go. Something a little different, but not too crazy different. There we go. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Don't need to keep reading that. Next is the alignment. Well, I need to figure out what my god is before I pick the alignment. So I was gonna pick Krimmer, right? You know, here it might just be boring to look at the character sheet all the time, and I apologize for that, but so where's Krimmer? Right there. Deity of Chaos. Well, that's great. Deity of Chaos, associated with horses, volcanoes, smoke, ash, courage, bloodlust, iron, and steel. Said to be a gigantic bearded warrior with massive thews of stone and eyes that bleed lava. Cimmerians often use his name as an expletive. Oh, that's great. Ah, Krimmer. So it'd be, Crimer. Criminy. So cleric shamans, typical followers, any especially Cimmerians, which apparently so let's, does anything say, what am I, Kimmer Celts? I want to look quickly, so if I miss one, I miss one. By quickly, I'm doing it really slowly. Oh, here we go. Languages. Typical speakers, Kimmer Celts, Hellenic. But this all comes to, we'll speak either Hellenic or Celtic, depending on the tribe. Some may speak both, but I think because I come from the main city, I wouldn't actually have that. All right. Let's just stick with this so we can move on. I don't want to spend all day figuring out how to make a backstory for this character, so we're just going to pick this. So, Deity of Chaos. All right. Doesn't say I have to be of any alignment, but it just makes sense to be chaotic. So let's pick chaotic good for the alignment. So what is chaotic good? To value, I moved off the screen. To value freedom and unrestraint, so long as such pursuits do not inhibit the lives of other godly or goodly folk. Independence and self-reliance are the highest value, etc., etc., etc. Alignments. Let's just write in, back to the top. We're going to type in chaotic good. All right, moving along here. Let's keep moving. So language, common is any. I mean, if the game master is being nice, you can say, look, I will let you have one of the other languages. If that's the case, then I would pick Hellenic. Why not? Because it's the first one I clicked on, really. So common and Hellenic. But I could also see a game master saying, nah, you were born in the main town of Chromarium, whatever the hell it's called. Chromarium. So no, you wouldn't have that. But either way, I don't think this would be game breaking. So, all right, let's move on. Gods, 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 gods. Religion, deity. Okay, secondary skills. Roll a 2d20, or sorry, roll a d20 and then roll a d6. Now, this part I would never roll. unless the game master made me. Because I would just pick something that would somehow fit the character itself. But hey, that's for the stream. Let's roll it. So D20, I got a 12. And for the D6, I got a 4. So what is that? A 12 is down here, and a 4 is over here. Hunter Trapper. Well, I mean, live in a clan, so why not? So my secondary skills, so I'm a cleric of a god of chaos. And before then, or while doing that, who knows? I was a hunter trapper. I know how to get skins and pelts. Wow, hunter. Okay, there we go. And you know, I could write that into my backstory, blah blah blah. But let's move on. Weapon skills. All right, so here we go. I said before that we're gonna have to go back up to page 17. If I can find. Okay, that way. So what weapons are available to me as a base cleric? Magician, cleric. We're just going to pick a couple easy ones, kind of standard ones. We got club, dagger, flail. I think we'll do a footman's flail because it sounds nice. Oh, no. I'm going to cheat a little bit here. And I am going to go down to the equipage, and I'm going to find out what the quick start says that a... It's up here. It's before spells. And I'm going to go with that. Cleric. Studded armor, dagger. So we'll dagger and warhammer. I'm writing this down. Anything else that I need to care about? Studded armor. Okay, that's it. At this point, that's it. Okay, so dagger, warhammer. We'll go with that. Where am I? Oh, forgot. Get off the screen, get that back over there. Bye-bye. So now everybody does this part a little differently. Some people put their weapons only in here. Some people put it here, and they put it down in their equipment list. Here. For me, it depends. But for today, we're just going to put it up in here because I want to move on. I'm not bored or anything like that. It's just I feel like I'm wasting your time if I take an hour and a half to do this. Dagger. Warhammer. Watch Games Workshops try to sue me because they're assholes. Okay, so now looking over here, going back to that. So we'll just. Oh, I have to pass this. Why won't you give me the dumb thing? A little bar to drag and scroll. All right, so we got our weapons. Weapon class for the dagger, I think is a 0 or 1. Let's find out. Well, we know we're getting studded. Since that came first for whatever reason, let's put that in here. I'm not going to show this every time, but this is where I'm getting. I've got the book. But so armor class is 6 for studded. So we'll just put studded. If I can type. Is there any damage reduction? No, there's no damage reduction for this. And no other, its weight class is light. I don't know if I need to put that in here, but just in case it is important, let's put that there. It's considered light armor, which is why there's no damage reduction. Let's see, weapon masteries. I'm not going to take a weapon mastery, even if it's offered to me, but I don't think it is. I think that's only for fighters. So weapon skills, I could write them all in here, but this is for the new ones. These are... Let me backtrack for a second. I've made enough characters that... If... Right now we're going to have dagger and warhammer, right? The cleric can have all the weapons that were indicated before as something that the character knows, but the character can also learn other weapons. And if that's the case, you put them in, type it in here. If it's something that isn't normal, like you've decided you want to learn, main gauche or something like that, you put it in there. So, Baldahar looked it up. It's weapon class 0. Good. Which we'll get to in a moment. I'm not going to start with a shield unless it puts it in the equipment list. I didn't remember seeing that there. We're just going to stick with the studded. Movement. This is that one thing that if you saw episode 1 or 2 of the live stream, we were kind of frustrated with because the only place you're going to find movement in this game to guarantee your movement, that you know what it is right here in the armor section. Movement. Not even in the movement section. It says most characters start with a 40 in movement, but this is the only place that you are going to actually see your starting character's movement. So since we have studded, it is 40. That's like the one thing in the game that I would like fixed in terms of, can we add that somewhere or whatever, but not Baldahar. I didn't say Baldahar. I said Ravenslayer. If I said Baldahar, well, then I actually knew it was you, Ravenslayer. And this time all your names are in black, so I can't tell the difference anyway. But I'm pretty sure I said Ravenslayer because I was thinking Ravenslayer. If I didn't, well, sorry. Hammer, Horseman. Not required to get people's names right. Where are we looking here? So Warhammer. Oh, they put in here as hammer, comma. I'm just gonna do it right. Wow, you really didn't want to delete that? Hammer, comma, war. I'm gonna just put it in here the way it's written in the book. So a hammer, comma, war. Oh, where was that? Where was it? Hammer war is a weapon class 2. Did I? Well, I was thinking you, if that matters. It's a thought that counts, right? There we go. Attack rate is going to be 1/1 because we are first level characters and we're not special. It's not called special. We don't have masteries. Damn it, slash. Attack modifiers. Well, none. If you look up in here, we have no types of adjustments. So this is going to make that easy. 0, 0. So what is the damage for a dagger? Well, when I look at this right here, I see it as 1d4. One of the things I don't like about games like this, and this is not to pick on Astonishing Swordsman and Sorcerers Hyperborea, I feel the same way about D&D and many, many, many other games, is I like exploding damage. That's one of the reasons, that was one of the things that really turned me on to Earthdawn when I first started playing it many, many years ago. Is the fact that I like the ability that somebody with even a dagger could, in theory, with such an amazing roll, could kill something that has 30 hit points. I like that. I like that premise. In this game, the best you'd get out of it, well, with Cleric, won't get the Thief's Backstab bonus, is a ×3 modifier, which is ×3 to the roll, so the best you could get is 12 damage. And I'm not complaining. This is nothing wrong with this game. It's typical of games like this, so nothing wrong. It's just, I like exploding damage. Now, I don't think exploding damage would fit in this game because it would start to, definitely change the balance. It's already deadly enough. It doesn't need to be more deadly, but I'm just saying that is typically something. Okay, everything else, because these are just pretty much generic weapons, so we've got them there. Damage reduction here is 0. We already said that. No other modifiers. Unskilled attack penalty. I did see that. Let me scroll back up to that. Unskilled attack penalty. Let's put that on the screen so you can see it. For a cleric is -2. So if it is a weapon that the cleric doesn't know how to use, it isn't on that list that was given in the cleric class, it's a -2. So trying not to bounce around. I'm trying to do things in order, but yeah, I screwed that up. So okay, let's get back on track here. I do think the next thing we're going to be looking at is what we want to buy. And again, instead of going through this entire long list of stuff we can buy, I think we're just going to take the Cleric's starting pack. So let's take a look at this. Zoom in on this a little more. Cleric starting pack. Studded armor. Already got that on there. Dagger, warhammer, backpack, bandages, soft leather pouch, small sack, tinderbox, torches, 3 of them. Wineskin that's full. Writing stick, iron rations, holy water or holy oil, and a silver holy symbol. So that's what we will start with. And we'll put that on. Oops, I should probably zoom out now. Savage Worlds does that as well. Okay. Savage Worlds, I have the book, and I've played, I wouldn't even call it played. I think it was a guy's homebrewed thing. But I did some Savage World. It was what, Deadlands? Wastelands? Hunters? I don't know. It was something like that. But it used a Savage World system. And I really, really, really liked it with one caveat. I don't like the cards. I don't like games that use cards. I don't know what it is. Like even Forbidden Lands. My God, I love Forbidden Lands. And when we go into Coriolis, after we do Astonishing Swords and Sorcerers Hyperborea, I'll probably talk to you about how much I love the Year Zero engine. And I love Forbidden Lands. But I don't play with the advanced combat cards. I just play with the basic combat, which unfortunately kind of screws the fighter, because the fighter, you get a choice of 3 talents or one of 3 talents at the beginning. Well, that's one of the talents. I've just cut out 33% of what the warrior's choices are. I really just gave them an A or B choice. And I feel bad about that, but I don't like using the cards. I just don't. No. All right, let's go into... Now, I do use the cards for initiative, but that's it. And you can still roll dice for that. What am I looking for? Oh, so we want to fill in our gear. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to copy and paste this. And if it doesn't all fill in, I don't care. Just because you all know that we're just going to move on here. We're going to leave it there. Cleric starting back. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete that. Oh, I can't delete it. So let's do that. We're just going to call it Cleric starting pack because I want to move on. But this is where I would put all the... wow, there's space there apparently. Or the apostrophe is extra big in that. Because there's nothing in here anymore that I need that is going to change anything. And if it does, well, it's on page 128. All right, so let's go down. Other statistics. All right, now we're going to be looking at things like armor class and casting ability and so forth. So armor class. Actually, one thing I do want to show you. Armor class we already have, 6. Missile armor class, I'm not using a shield with this one, so it's still going to be 6. Casting ability, which we've got on the other page. We'll get to it in a minute. We pulled out of our cleric class. Adds a little randomness to game. Yeah, and I mean, I understand. I don't know. How do I say it? Just for me, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. Just for me, it's a little quirky. I'd rather roll dice. I mean, to me, role-playing games are about dice, not cards. But that's, again, personal opinion. So other people love, card games and so on and so forth, and they want more cards in their game. And more power to you, and I'm glad it's there. I just would do everything. If I'm going to do random stuff, I do it all with dice. Okay. I'm going to show this real quickly. I know I'm just kind of bouncing back and forth here, but I want to get it filled in. So here's the combat matrix. What did we say that the character's fighting ability was at first level? Well, we already put in the 1. So that is going to be the character's fighting ability right there. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I'm going to put that on the chart. Wizard would start, or magician would start with 0. It's just the old Thaco, or it's the old first edition chart. You can think of it as Thaco. It's basically the same thing. So armor class 9. So what is armor class 9? Would be 10. Do I have to tab? 11, 12. It's caps lock. Try and do this quick. 13. Would you stop hitting caps lock? 14, 15, 16. Not 161. 16. Delete. It's getting crazy here. 17, 18, 19. So basically, that's a Thaco of 19. 20, 21, 20. Oops. 2, 3, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28. So if it's got an armor class of -9, you'd have to roll 28 on a d20 to hit it. I know when Max was a video gamer and he kind of only took an arrow to the knee. Skyrim, yes. Now he does talk about stuff that requires imagination. I was a tabletop role player long before I was a video gamer, but welcome, Spectrefire. Glad to see you here. Palandrin started with a C, not a K. Not that I care. If you have 1d6 on cards, or 1d6 on use void stuff, what happened last night? Regard 3. Well, yeah, and that's one of the things that like the Forbidden Lands thing does. It gives you 1 through 10 in cards, so nobody can pick the same number. You can't roll the same number, whatever. There's absolutely a reason for it. I'm not disparaging it. I'm not saying it's bad and shouldn't be in games. It's not for me. But Savage Worlds may be one of those games that I talk to Heathen Dog about in the future. It'll have to be long off in the future because we got a couple other things we're doing first. But it might be good to go through for both of us because I've got the book and I've played variants of Savage Worlds in the past, way in the past. Might be good to go through. But for now, we're going to continue making our astonishing Maxumi. Well, just don't get mad at me when I call you Baldahar. So there. Yeah, I mean, I know that. Oh no. Hey, I stream video games on Fridays now. Fridays at 11 Central. Same, since I can't harass. I mean, interact with you, fair enough. Hey, I do miss hanging out with you. Actually, I haven't even looked to see if you've been streaming recently. So if you have, I'm a bad person because I haven't watched. If you have not, well, then I don't feel so bad. But as always, if you're watching on your computer, hover over my little page there. Your channel's up there, and I think everybody should follow your channel. And I mean that. I'm not just saying that because Spectrefire's here. Those people who are on there, I think you should follow all of them. So, even Omnipotence, who I don't think I've ever watched once in my life. But he's the husband of somebody who came into my office about a year and a half ago, who fixed a bunch of our stuff, a bunch of our equipment. Or actually, it was for an inspection. And she was cool, so I figured her husband's probably cool. But I've never watched a stream a single time. 11 a.m. Hey, no, I understand, and that's the problem, is I'm still in Germany, man. So, yeah, although probably next year at this time I won't be. But yeah, I'm still in Germany, so I get you. Spec doesn't stream anymore. He got old and took an arrow to the knee. Now it does is read nerd articles and look for artwork. Hey, he posts that artwork on our Discord, so I'm okay with that. Facts. Oops. I mean, I wanted to put that one up there. There we go. There we go. So, all right, let's move on with this. That was good. So saving throws. Again, if we look on here, I don't know why I keep signing this over there. I feel like I have to validate. Like, see, I'm really getting it from the book. We want to go up to our saving throws. So saving throws are based on level. Since this is a first or second level character, all of our saving throws are going to be 16. How simple is that? I love it, right? I do. I like that simplicity. And as much as I like the D&D, the AD&D saving throw chart, rod, staff, wand, petrification, polymorph, and all the numbers being different, so on and so forth, I actually like this better. And I'm telling you, I'm going to look you all in the eye. This is what 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons should have been. Of course, with dwarves, elves, gnomes, halflings, so forth. This system is what 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons should have been. If this is what it would have been, I would have continued on with Dungeons and Dragons instead of trying to find something else to play. So I guess we can put zeros in here. It doesn't matter. Okay, so hit die. So what does it say for hit points? You automatically start with that and evaluate. Let's do this. Hit points, an evaluation of the ability to withstand and minimize physical damage through the combination of experience. Blah, blah, blah. What does it say to start? Fighters gain 3 points. Yep, it's incoming. Use a pencil, shotgun. Oh, where does it say you're starting hit points? Okay, hit points are rolled at character creation. Well, there you go. It says it right there. Rolled. Here we go. We can get a 1. Rolling that D8. Let's bring up the die roller. D8. Survey says 3. Oh, no. Oh, damn. So here's my rolling method for hit points. If you roll a D4, you roll a D4 and that's it. If you roll a D6, so basically if you hit a D6, if your hit die is a D6, you re-roll 1s. If your hit die is a D8, you re-roll 1s and 2s. So even under my rolling system, this would stay, but it'd be the lowest possible. If you use a D10, you re-roll 1, 2s, 3s, and 4s. And if you use a D12, you re-roll 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s. And the reason I do that is to make sure that the fighter can never have less hit points than the wizard, because that would be dumb. However, I do like the randomness of it. So that's me. For some reason, many people have a problem with that, and I think that's why they made... Well, yeah, okay. I don't disagree with that in theory. I only get mad about the whole Thaco thing when people start getting insulting about it. Oh, Thaco's the dumbest thing ever. Blah, blah, blah. No, it wasn't. It was based on the 1st edition chart, which is what this game bases it on as well. If you can't do simple 2nd grade math, that's on you, not on me. At the same time, I do understand the concept of always wanting to roll high. Let's be honest. You're rolling attribute checks, you want to roll low. You're rolling to hit, you wanted to roll high. You're rolling saving throws that, you see what I'm saying? It's like, it kind of fluctuated all over the place. So I don't mind how they tried to make it everything upscale. Also, having armor classes that range from -10 to 10 gets really problematic at the later stage of the game when you're wielding +5 swords with rings of, agility and all this other stuff where it's like a 20th level fighter. Or what happens when you get really epic level? And I hear people talking, my 31st level warrior. Okay, so your THAC0's -11 there, or -10 there. You can't miss anything. So I do like the concept of it always going high. The game can adjust with you and so forth. But anybody who whines about THAC0, that's the dumbest thing ever. You're a grognard. Well, fuck you. You can't do second grade math, so. It's, yeah, well, yeah, okay, Ravenslayer said it right. Here, it's not the THAC0, it's the math involved. But, and again, I can kind of understand that. I made a video about THAC0. THAC0 minus die roll equals armor class hit. THAC0 minus die roll equals armor class hit. But that methodology is literally backward to the way the game presents it to you. But it's intentionally so. See, when you calculate THAC0 the way the book says, you kind of need to know the armor class of the target you're fighting. But most of the game masters I've ever played with across the entire world, many different game masters, I've never had one say, okay, you're going to go fight this. Everybody get ready to combat. Put your miniatures out there. And oh, by the way, its armor class is 6. No. Everybody always said, okay, roll the hit. Oh, you missed. And so in order to figure it out, so I have what's called a backward methodology. I have a whole video on that. You can check it out. But it's just remember, THAC0 minus die roll equals armor class hit. THAC0 minus die roll equals armor class hit. Okay, let's move on here. Movement rate, the number of feet per round, 10 seconds. Character can ambulate. Gotta like that word. It says go check combat actions or movement when really it's in the armor section. Saving throws, we just did saving throws, hit dice. Okay, turning ability. Okay, so let's get to the turning ability. Whoa. Where's that chart? Oh, it's numeric value. Okay, well, turning ability is 1. We already know that. We got that from the cleric thing. And we'll fill this out once we get to that in the book. So where are we in the book now? Oh, volume 2, spells. All right, so do we remember from Heathen Dog talking about this, how we get spells in Astonishing Swordsman, Sorcerers, Hyperborea? Well, let's look on page 136. I'm not going to worry about spell books and so forth right now. We're going to just look at accumulating spells. Where is it? Acquiring new spells. Okay, starting spells. A magician begins play with a spellbook containing 3 spells. A cleric begins play. That's the important one for us. With knowledge of 3 spells, but they're not contained in a spellbook. Rather, they're occult scriptures and so basically they're written as catechism. Okay, so 3 spells. Does it say we can pick any 3 we want? Does it say we have to choose them? Let's find out. Spell books. That's all about spell books. So expand the repertoire. So basically, I get to pick 3 spells. So let's pick 3 spells. Where are the cleric spells? Cleric spells. Cleric spell list 150. And we're not going to look through all the descriptions of each and every one of them. We're just going to pick spells that look like they'd be appropriate for the character. You need to do a THAC0 music video, man. I got some interesting comments about that video with that whole THAC0 minus die roll. I'm sorry. Yeah, THAC0 minus die roll equals armor class hit. People's like, I can't get it out of my head. Good. That was the point of it. I don't know. Well, obviously, as a cleric, cure light wounds, right? Even if I'm following a god of chaos, still chaotic good. And then all these other ones are good at one point or another. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to do cure light wounds, and then I'm going to let you guys pick the next 2. So go ahead and type in off this here. I'll make it bigger in case you can't see it. Of these level 1s, I'm going to do cure light wounds. You guys pick the other 2. What am I starting with? No Terminator for singing. Yeah, that is true. I wouldn't even get a warning either. It'd just be dead. Krant says bless. Ravenslayer says sanctuary. Perfect. Those will be the 2 we do. I love sanctuary. Before the game got converted to 5th edition, the 2nd edition game I was playing in about a year ago, sanctuary was awesome. Okay. So let's get that off the screen, get you back up there. It'll zoom you back out because that screen zoomed in like that sucks. So, spells. So here we go. We're going to do bless. Oops. Apparently I hit that caps lock key one too many times before. Bless. That's a level 1 spell. I don't know where that went. Cure Light Wounds and Sanctuary. Oh, all of the spell. I mean, that's one of the things that I really like about games like this is that, you know, I cannot speak for 3rd through 5th edition D&D, but in 1st and 2nd edition, sure, there's some things you want to take. You want to take Aid and Bless and Cure Light Wounds and so on and so forth, but I can find uses for damn near anything. It just you know, depending on how the game master's running the game, if it's heavily combat, well, then I would definitely take more combat-oriented spells. If it's heavy roleplay or a mix of roleplay, I'll pick some other ones. But I mean, I could see Detect Magic being important, Detect Malady being important. I mean, Detect Malady, I don't know the exact definition of the spell, which we can look at in a moment, but just for example, that sounds like a really good one to diagnose that somebody's poisoned. Oh, crap. You know, so I can think of a lot of reasons to use pretty much any of these spells, but hey, I can cast 3 miracles that a mundane person in this world can't do. I'm only going to do Bless. I'm not going to do any of the other ones. But, for example here, let me scroll down to Bless. And I'm doing Bless because it's the first one. So, it's level 1 for me. It's range 0. And its duration is 3 turns, so 30 minutes in this game. And +1 bonus on any morale check. Actually, I should do RNG 3 returns. Yeah, +1 morale. And +1 on any save versus fear. Save versus something like that. However you want to do it. But I'm just going to leave it at that for now. Oh, +1 on all attack rolls. So +1. Yeah, so, I mean, obviously this is already getting too long. So morale, save. Let's save. /fear and attack. Tell me it's not damage. Also. Okay, on attack rolls. There we go. So there we go. That just gives me a quick, okay, what does it do? It's got a range of 0, so I got to touch somebody. It's 3 turns. And it's +1 to morale, save versus fear, and to attack rolls. I love party buff spells as well. And one of the things I loved about Bless, let's see if it says it here for this one. But the AD&D Bless is that you had to do it before combat. You couldn't do it while in combat. So it's one of those things that made you step back for a second and prepare. And if the dumbass warrior just went, nope, you're not getting Bless. So all allies within 25 feet of the caster are sanctified by the spell. Actually, I should put that in there. So it's centered on the target. Oh, yeah, I agree with you. Doesn't say it has to be either form of the spell effects. Only those within range at the moment the spell is cast. So moving into or out of range has no impact. Okay, so this one doesn't say, so this can be cast at any time. This is actually more powerful than a 2nd edition AD&D Bless. Okay, let's move on. Not going to do the rest of them. You get the idea. You can figure out the rest of them. And yes, this would actually be range 0, but 25 or something like that. I mean, I don't know how you would want to write it. 3 turns. I keep my own little spell cards. Like, this is not enough room for me. I personally just make my own little note cards with the spells on them. That's what I do. But that gives you an idea. Okay, so we got to get through the spell list. So we're 1st level. We don't have any more spells. So we can skip all of this. Scroll. Oh, let's do more spells. Are we done? Did we? Okay, so that's henchmen. We don't have henchmen yet. We're not paying for mercenaries. adventure preparation, base of operations. Where's the turning? There is a turning chart, and I want to show it. Time, movement. That doesn't matter. That isn't something that's written on a character sheet. It's not to start. Combat magic, attack modifier. Well, so here's the combat matrix for any of the full. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, the full combat matrix for anybody who cares. Obviously, what we looked at before was only 1 and 2, but this is the full combat matrix. Because if you remember, level 12 is the highest in this game, which I think is a good place to end maximum levels. I struggled running games higher than that. I really did. Okay, that's combat action. I just want the turning. Combat action. Missiles. Okay, there's the turning chart. All right, so here is the turning chart. We're level 1, so it'll be this right here. Remember, the NTs mean no turn is possible. So we can only turn undead that are at a rating of 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, or 3. And I actually prefer this to the second edition one where it says 1 hit die or skeletons, 2 hit die or zombie. Really, it just goes right in there and just says, when you write the monster up, when you write the undead up, you say, this is a rating 6 undead, or category 6, or level 6, or however the hell they identify it here. Undead. Boom. So, there is, let's scroll down to spells memorized. We'll look at that in just a moment. Where is it's equipage? Turning, there we go, turning ability. So this is 10:12. This is 7:12. I also like how this chart doesn't change. So even when it improves, and here's what I'm saying about that. Let me be careful. It's always 10, 12, 10, 12, 10, 12, 10, 12, 10, 12, 7, 12, 7, 12, 7, 12, 7, 12, 4, 12. You see what I'm saying? I like that. So it's real simple. You know it's just going to adjust over by 1. Nice and simple. Only have a 1 in 12 chance of turning these level 3 undead. Identifies type 7. You refer to me as what? BT7 stud muffin? No. And we'll just put NT in the first one because, you know, it's going to be NT for the rest of them as well. What I do want to do is, I think it was a D4 plus 1, and that's what I would just do off the top of my head, but I want to get it right because I said we're going to follow the book. I'm going back to the equipage section where we got the pack. Starter, it's right there. Starter pack. And it says, what do I roll for money? D4 plus 1. I was right. So let's roll our D4 plus 1. D4 plus 1. I got a 4. A 4 gold to our name. So, there. Spells we have memorized. I forgot to do that in spell casting. That was my fault. Come on. Come on. Oh, I'm looking in the wrong area. Actually, since I'm here, I'm going to check to see if it's here first. Okay, yes. So instead of going to spell, I'm actually glad I went here. So cleric, I can cast 1 spell per day. But if you remember, my wisdom bonus lets me cast 2. So the spells I have memorized for today are going to be Cure Light Wounds and Bless. There you go. Oh no, I cast them both. Oh, good, I can't check them out. Oh, I can check them out. Oh, I cast them both. Okay. Spells cast per day. 1. NA. Oh, it goes down. 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. And this doesn't matter because we can't do it yet. But there we go. This is how I would do it anyway. Somebody might want to leave this blank or somebody might fill this in more completely. But for now, as I start my character, I can cast 2 spells per day. So right off the bat, when I find a new spell, when I find somebody's catechism and I want to learn from it, there we go. Hopefully it's the same god as me. Baldy ass, wow. This is Ravenslayer's love for Baldahar. I told you Baldahar, it's not he, she, it's shit shim. Shit shim. He, she, it becomes shit. Him, her becomes shim. It's very easy. Everybody can understand it, and it makes sense. Let's go up here. Okay, so we didn't make a character's name. I don't care about the character's name right now. We're not going to do backstory and so on and so forth. Did we get everything filled in, though? I'm hoping so. First level character. Got our attack penalties. We got that. Got our movement rate. We know that an AC is 6, which if you look at the combat matrix, for me to hit myself, I only have to roll 13 or better. Baldy asses false marketing. Not as false as push-up bra and stuffing, but wow. No, the ones that get me are the ones that wear those little ass pants that like give their ass a little more rounded shape. Because you can always notice those. Always. So we read scrolls, scribe scrolls. Okay, remember, we didn't put everything on here. I just kind of started this out. You can go back to the beginning of the episode for this. By the way, if you've liked this, subscribe. Would really appreciate it. And share. Sharing is always awesome as well. Sharing is caring. Got our spells. Spells known for day. Miscellaneous notes calculation. That doesn't matter. Oh, XP needed for next level. So we have 0 right now. And we need 1,999 for... Actually, no. We need 2,000 for the next level. Creepers. So we got that. Don't have any henchmen or anything yet. 2. What a jerk. Hey. I'm not European. There we go. So I was acting all European. We're turning the European comma. Physique. Got this. Distinguished features. I can make a background on that. Equipage. We just went the cleric starting pack. Again, didn't write it in. Doesn't matter at this point. Got 4 gold. Ammunition. We do have 1 water ration, but again, that's in the cleric starting pack. So there you go. With the exception of filling out the cleric starting pack and and writing down every ability here, this is a first level character. So let's go through it slowly so everybody can see it, and then you can give me your thoughts in chat. I'll scroll that. Obviously, it should never take that long to make a character. That was what, over an hour? But this was us explaining things and so on and so forth. Once you do this a couple of times, like I said, I can do it in 15 to 20 minutes, and that includes writing out all the notes and so forth. I also am much better with a book in front of me than with a PDF. I hate PDFs. I'm glad they exist for people that want them or for quick reference, but I need to have a physical book in front of me. Scroll here, turn on dead. Read the tune, plays the list, destroys flash. In his catechism. Yeah, that's where that's what I was telling everybody where you were, why you weren't feeling well, is you drank the not drank the phylactery, you drank the concoction that would turn you into a lich, and I wasn't sure if it succeeded or not. So, got our spells memorized. Now, would I use this character sheet? Yeah, to start for my first character, but ultimately I always make my own character sheets with Game Master approval, of course, because some Game Masters only like looking at either their own or the default one, whatever, because they can glance at it. I get that, and I would always use the one that the Game Master says, but ultimately I would make my own character sheet. So, although I do like this one. All right, I'm going to take this off the screen. I hope you guys were good with that.